It was an alien environment for me. I had to learn fast how people behave in a newsroom environment, how people behave when they're in an office, full stop. My name is Charlene White and I'm a presenter for ITV News and Loose Women. Everyone should have a work experience story. My first work experience, I sent out 50 letters, handwritten letters to 50 different organisations because I really wanted to get some work experience, and I was only 16 years old. My mum was a social worker, my dad a driving instructor, so I didn't know anyone in the industry, so I had no idea where to start. So I sent out 50 handwritten letters. I really wanted Just 17 because that was the teen magazine of the time and all my friends were reading it and I really loved it. That was what I really wanted. They never replied to me. But the place that did reply to me was the Guardian newspaper. I was really upset because, it was a newspaper, but to me, it just screamed dull, really dull and boring, not exciting at all. And I know now, at my big old age, I know it was a really cool thing to do, but at the time, I just thought, I'm going to be so bored, this is awful. But I went on my 2-week work experience. It got extended by another 4 weeks. So I spent 6 weeks working at The Guardian. And this will age me again, but I was working with a team that was trying to work out if newspapers could work online. So we'd go through the paper every day. We'd pick out stories and then we would put them up on the computer and see visually which stories may well or may well not work online. But it seems weird to talk about now because The Guardian's one of the biggest news websites in the world. In terms of what I learned, for me it was just learning that it was a really exciting environment to be in. You could see things on TV, you could see them in films, but you don't necessarily know if that's what it's like in real life. And everybody was really helpful, everybody was really friendly. I made a lot of teas, obviously, but they also gave me little bits of responsibility as well, which was shocking for me. But I guess that was their way of testing and pushing me, and I'm grateful for that. I think going on work experience gave me a lot of confidence. I don't come from a media family. My parents didn't hang around people that were in the media. I had no insight into it whatsoever. But by doing that work experience at 16, it gave me a lot of confidence, and it gave me the confidence to think big and to think high when it came to where I wanted to work, what kind of work experience I wanted to do, and what I felt that I was capable of. It instilled me with the confidence I wouldn't have gotten anywhere else, to be honest. Obviously, my parents were supportive of the career that I wanted to do, but they couldn't help me. I could only help myself. And that's what the work experience at 16 gave me, was the confidence to push forward with that. My second lot of work experience was actually arranged through an organisation that helped Black and Asian students get into the media. And I had to apply, I had to do lots of interviews, and the sponsor that I managed to bag was actually ITV. So I ended up doing 2 summers working at ITV Regional News, and if there was anything in my life that cemented in my head that that's what I wanted to do for my career, it was doing the 2 summers of working for ITV in Maidstone and in Southampton. So it could be breaking news stories like fires or car crashes, murders for instance. I'd be jumping in a car with a reporter and we could be going anywhere, be in the car for an hour and suddenly we're live on TV, just incredible. But then also I'd do stories, especially when I was living in Southampton and working at Meridian down there, was telling the stories of those whose voices tend to be the quietest. So those who come from smaller communities, poorer communities, doing stories about them. That's when I realised that you could actually have an impact in someone's life. And if things are really hard, by telling their story, it could turn things around. So I'm thrown into a TV newsroom having never been in one before. And I was suddenly having to learn how to write scripts. I was suddenly learning what it was like to sit in an editing suite and edit pictures. I was learning how to write scripts from reporters. I've never been in this environment before. But then I'm getting to hang around these people who've done it for decades. It was brilliant. And also learning things like the male presenter at that time would literally just be in like a suit and tie and a suit jacket and board shorts underneath because no one ever saw his lower half. All those things. It was amazing, but it's also learning how to assimilate yourself into an environment too. It was an alien environment for me. I had to learn fast how people behave in a newsroom environment, how people behave when they're in an office, full stop, how to not ingratiate yourself with people, but how to network. That was probably my first instance where I sort of understood the power of networking. So I had to learn all of those things because no one was teaching them to me. No one was. So I had to learn on the job. In order for you to get a taste of the industry that you think you want to work in, work experience is key. I know it's not always easy to get into, and I know it's not always easy to bag, but it is really, really important, because how else will you know for sure that that's the sort of job that you want to do, or that kind of industry that you want to work in? It gives you a taster before you make a decision, which is a big decision in life that you may end up regretting.